Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 3XY, and today we have a very special interview with a gentleman that's come across the world to visit us here in Melbourne. He is the Executive Director of the Hellenic Initiative, Mr. Mark Array. Mark, welcome to 3XY. Welcome to Melbourne, Australia.
Thank you very much. This is my first trip to Australia, and I have to say, it's just spectacular. I'm really deeply impressed with Australia, with Melbourne, with everything I've been experiencing, so thank you.
Well, I think it's most important to mention, Mark, I had the pleasure and indeed a pleasure to meet you yesterday at a very special press conference that took place at the Greek Community Building. And of course, you had a chat to us in regards to the Hellenic Initiative. And in our newspaper, Tanea, today, we have a huge article that says, gathers momentum in Australia. So obviously your trip here has a purpose.
Yes, indeed it does. The Hellenic Initiative, as some of your listeners may know, it was founded in 2012 by prominent men and women of the Greek diaspora, mostly from America, but we have two from Australia as well, Nick Pappas and Nick Mitaros, one from Sydney and the latter from Perth.
Yes.
Of course, the chairman of THI, as we call it, the Hellenic Initiative, is Andrew Liveris, who's a name probably known to most of your audience.
Yes.
And the purpose of the Hellenic Initiative was very simple. The diaspora, which has been quite successful at many, many levels, coming together and even inviting Philhellenes to do something for Greece in this time of tremendous economic stress. And we do philanthropic charitable work, working with non-governmental organizations. We also do work with entrepreneurs and young Greeks in Greece who are struggling to find work and to keep work and to make their life better.
If I could mention, Mark, what's very interesting to me is that, and I think it would be to our listeners, that you weren't born in Greece or anything like that, but you certainly are a very strong Philhellene, and your background, you were a clergyman of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America, with 34 years there, from what I know, and certainly very involved with the Greek community, and from your discussions yesterday, very passionate about Greece.
Well, I mean, I am a Philhellene. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm very proud of it. I was honored to be able to serve in the Archdiocese of America as a clergyman, as a parish priest, and as an administrator for a very long time. But as your audience may also know, remarriage for the laity is permitted, but not for the clergy. And
yes.
When I came to a certain point in my life, much to my surprise, happily surprised, I desired to remarry, and I did so. But of course, that means your ecclesiastical career and your service as a clergyman is over.
Over, that's right.
Still serving the community, very involved with the community, and very proud to be involved with the community.
Fantastic. I also had went on the website and, of course, had a look at the Hellenic Initiative website, and can I say, very impressed indeed, especially if I could mention that Bill Clinton, the former president of the USA, is a patron and features quite heavily in some articles, and I like what he says here when he says the Greeks will feel that the world and their brothers and sisters are supporting them. And I think that probably sums up the initiative itself, why it came about. As you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, that it's due to the economic situation of Greece that many Greeks abroad are very concerned and would like to help, and this is a good way that they can get involved and help Greece.
Yes, and that's not to say, let's be clear, Ross, that Greeks haven't been helping. For years, many organizations, Silogi, I'm sure here in Australia, the Greek Chamber of Commerce or the Greek organizations, many organizations, and the Archdiocese, both of Australia, I know of America, have been helpful to Greece, have responded with great charitable work through the decades. The Hellenic Initiative isn't ignoring any of that, obviously. We know that history. But we are trying to bring together leaders from around the world to leverage, if you will, to make possible for a wider swath of the diaspora, if you will, because there's a lot of diaspora Greeks in the world, to get involved if they choose to. We're not an umbrella organization. We're not trying to replace any other group. We're simply trying to add to the good efforts that there have been in the past and to make more effort in the future.
Well, I think it's important also to mention that the organization is a non-for-profit organization.
Yes, it's a not-for-profit. It's completely not-for-profit, established in the United States. The people who donate to it want to donate, and it's a transparent organization. We publish our audits as not-for-profits do in the United States. They're accessible on the web, and we do that because we want to give confidence to people that if they do make a donation for a specific program or just a generic donation for any of the many programs, that the Hellenic Initiative is utilizing the best diligence in Greece, that we have a great deal of attention and care so that we make sure that the donations go to the right people and serve and are accountable for.
Well, talking of initiatives, as you mentioned, 2012 is when the Hellenic Initiative was founded. Well, I can have a look at a list of things that already have been achieved, and congratulations to everyone involved. We're talking about just a few to mention. The initiative announces a new grant of $300,000 to the International Orthodox Christian Charities. Nearly $2 million was raised in an annual banquet. Could you talk to us about that? That's a big figure to be raised in one night.
Yes, it's our banquet. We had the first one in 2013, the last one last year in October 2014, and the next one is coming in this year in September, I believe. We haven't announced the exact date yet, but we're getting close to it. But these are occasions; they're social occasions. But at the same time, it's a charity event, and everyone understands that it's a charity event. And we have some very generous people who make extraordinary donations because they know that the money is going to go to help feed a hungry child, or help a person get medicine who needs it, or help a young entrepreneur, or help a young person get a job who doesn't have a job. I mean, a lot of us, there's always tough economic times. Everybody would like to be doing better, perhaps, than they already are. But Greece has a 60% youth unemployment rate. That's
staggering.
Actually, I don't think that people either in America or in Australia can probably really understand what that feels like in the society. I mean, it's devastating. And people lose hope. They lose confidence in themselves. And even though Greece has, yes, it has vast economic problems. We all know. We've read the papers. But nevertheless, the THI likes to think of itself as having an impact in the lives of human beings, of the individual, of families. I mean, that's where the real value comes from. Because if you change one person's life for the better, that change ripples. There's an effect that spreads, and we're hoping that, we're not in this for a short term. We're not in this for any personal glory or reputation. The members of our board, if you Google any of their names, they don't need anything more than that which they have. They have praise, they have accomplishment, they have many, many things. They've been tremendously blessed, and they've worked tremendously hard to achieve much. But what they want to do is they want to give back, and they want to give back in an effective way, and also with some pride in the diaspora. The diaspora, I have to tell you, just my few days in Melbourne, the diaspora here has achieved remarkable things. I was so impressed by the Greek Center. We don't have anything comparable to that in New York. I went to the Greek Museum. and saw the Benaki exhibit, I was overwhelmed. I mean, yes, we have the Hellenic Museum in Chicago, but I mean, this is really showing a cohesive community, a community that is proud of itself. So tapping into that pride and tapping into that success, we're trying to also, bring it back to Greece, where it originally came from, by the way.
That's right. Well, Mark, I understand, I know you're very, very busy, but I suppose just to finish off this lovely interview and discussion with yourself, can we just talk about the goals now? Obviously, you're here in Australia talking to people, but from what you touched on yesterday, the whole idea is for this initiative, and what a great word too, the Hellenic Initiative, I love it. Obviously, you'd like this initiative to be embraced all around the world by Hellenes and the diaspora.
Well, that was always, Ross, the intention from the beginning. I mean, the initial initiative meeting brought together people from England, from France, from the United States, from Greece, from Australia. But we also understand that each place where the diaspora landed, whether it's Canada, whether it's Argentina, whether it's South Africa or Australia, the diaspora has molded itself, to comport to the country and to the land that it's in. So we are very excited, and I can tell you that the THI board, Chairman Liveris, and all the members of the board are very excited about the fact that THI is, the structure is emerging in Australia, and I'm sure in the next 30 to 60 days there'll be some formal announcements made about, who is going to be on the board, what it's going to be doing,
yes.
and just the fact that Australia is, in a sense, taking the lead as a country, as a sovereign state, to bring THI a truly global presence. I call it the globalization of THI, and that's why I'm here in Australia, to assist in any way that I can. The entire trip was based on an open book policy. No one had written a single word about what we're going to do or how we're going to do. I'm going to Sydney as well to meet with our partners in Sydney, particularly with Mr. Nick Pappas, who is a THI board member, and I was able to meet with Mr. Nick Mitaros, when he flew from Perth to Melbourne just to meet. So it's really exciting to see the Australian diaspora Greek community become this involved and want to give this type of a contribution to Greece.
Fantastic. Well, Mark, obviously from all of us here, and I'm sure the Greek community at large of Melbourne and Victoria who listen to 3XY Radio, they're certainly behind such a very, very positive initiative, and we hope that you achieve those goals, and we certainly will be here to support all your endeavours and look forward to speaking to you again. Even if it's from far away. Now with technology, you're around the corner now. You're not that far in America. So
that's true. I just finished talking with my wife in New York City, so I'm delighted to be here, and I can assure you it won't be the last. This is my first trip to Melbourne and Australia, but it will surely not be my last.
Fantastic, Mark. Well, all the very best. Congratulations, and καλή τύχη. Εύχομαι όλα να πάνε καλά.
Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Να είσαι καλά.
Thank you, Mark.